All right, welcome back. Welcome back to Greenbox Gaming plays Delta Green Possible Landscapes. You are joining us as we were an audience to probably the best Michael Caine impression I've ever seen.
Dace, your next character should just be Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. But yes, I'm joined by Dace playing Benji.
Hello.
Joined by Hank playing. But is Hank playing Brad, or is Brad playing Hank?
The plot
which
thickens.
is it? Well, he's there nonetheless. Okay, he's just showing. That's fine. And Jean playing Benedict.
Hi.
So, the idea of playing Michael. Well, were you going to say something? Do you have something for this?
Tangerine.
The sides of a tangerine.
Ruby flies of a tangerine.
I don't. It's probably not as funny to those who.
Certainly not. We can't go back to that. It's very much
inside
of
jokes
the
don't
moment.
work.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah,
If you
onward and upward.
But okay, so but there are a lot of there are a lot of really great like character actors and stuff in the world. Like if you had to choose one to kind of like use like their accent, and like their kind of feel like to play a character, like I know, would Michael Caine be one of them? It's not a bad one.
It'd be an entertaining one.
I think it'd be great. So
There's
much so that I
this
think that
awesome-
should be someone's character.
There's a skit. It's Rob Brydon and Steve Coogan, who are two British comedians and entertainers, if you aren't familiar with them. But it's just like them going back and forth, kind of like, razzing each other and like talking shit about each other's Michael Caine impersonations. And that's what made me get into the Michael Caine accent. I really highly recommend that everybody watch that video.
Yeah.
Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon.
Well,
Little aside there.
another great British actor which I tried to do for your campaign with Heavy Hand was Brian Blessed.
Oh yeah.
Can you give us a snippet of Heavy Hand?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I really like God, I cannot believe I've forgotten his name. He's a method actor who does There Will Be Blood and Gangs of New York.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis, like I can't even remember the name of the character from Gangs of New York. Can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen the movie now. But God, I think that would be a really good one. I think that there was actually, what was it? There was a character in the game Dishonored that was like a direct. I don't know if it was
Bill the Butcher.
who said Bill the Butcher. There's a character in Dishonored that was a direct ripoff of of Bill the Butcher. I don't know if there's ever a problem about it, but I mean it was like they basically just made him into a character in the game. Like everything about them, the voice, his kind of the way he was, he was a gang leader in this whole thing. It was good.
I can't remember what his method for getting into Bill the Butcher was on that one. Besides, I think he just wore that air clothing constantly.
And almost died of pneumonia because he was he refused to wear actual warm clothes in the winter.
Yeah.
And he worked as a butcher.
Wow.
I know that. I remember that.
Yeah. I know, John. You got any good ones?
I'd go with Charlie Day. Charlie Day from Zoe Sunny. Just that shrill, high-pitched, frenetic, manic. Yeah,
I can see that being a good character.
that's what I'd go for.
I would love to.
It would be so difficult.
Well, it goes.
I don't think fast enough to do that.
You say that, Jean. You played a really good character in one of our control group games, where it was the one where you guys were the soldiers in Afghanistan, and you were playing like the group heavy. You were like a
Right.
Polak American, just like killing machine.
Yeah.
Like
Even wore a hat for that one.
Yeah, you dressed up for that one. You cosplayed for that one.
That was a fantastic character. Similarities between him and Charlie Day.
I'm just saying that Jean has it in him. You know, like he's.
Oh, okay.
You know,
He's got the range. I
he's
gotcha.
got the range.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Boy's got some range.
It kind of reminds me of what is this? Like a very similar feel to like Animal Mother from Full Metal Jacket, but with a less racist, more Eastern European tilt to him.
Who is the guy that
Right.
was the lead in Leon the Professional?
Ooh, I can see him. Can't remember his name though.
Also had a small part in the Godzilla movie starring Matthew Broderick.
Did he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Isn't
Well,
is it?
I don't
Wasn't
know,
that
like,
the same guy from? Hold on, I'm about to look him up.
Well, what do you guys think about using like characters like from other things and like adapting them as like a base? Like, is there like can you be too much of just that character?
Never.
Okay, there you go.
What do you mean, like the actual personality-wise, or just how far are we going with this?
I guess.
Are we gonna wear their face?
Whoa. Whoa. Ew.
John Reno is his name.
John Reno.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, do you? I think some people would think that's like, well, that's not like a really good because it's not original, so like it doesn't have the same feel to it, you know.
Maybe. I could see the argument for that, but I don't think there's anything wrong with using it as a starting point, and then, like, it's inevitably going to diverge from the source that you pulled it from as you have your own unique experiences as you're playing that character.
Yeah.
And it's going to turn into something else.
Oh man, the perfect example of that was Crix. Like, Crix started out, like, not
Yeah.
necessarily with the character, but the accent that you had for Crix started out, like, you used,
The Belter accent
the
from...
Belter accent, yeah.
The Belta Loda.
What's the name of that show?
Expanse.
The Expanse.
The Expanse.
Yeah.
The Expanse.
What a fucking wild accent. Like,
Right? Yeah.
I would not recommend that
You nailed
anybody ever try it ever. It's so insanely out
You can
there.
get like super specific with all the British or like United Kingdom accents. Like just like a
Right.
couple
Yeah,
miles
totally.
north, it's like completely different, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
like the Geordie accent, which is
Yeah.
a fantastic accent. It's one of my favorites.
And
But
like even the difference
they're
between like
just-
Manchester and I don't know what is the
Liverpool.
stuff like that.
Right.
North versus South. That's fascinating.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that accent, you started with the Belter, whatever it is, the Space Creole.
Patois.
Like,
Yeah.
Space Cajun. And, like, you started with that, but it really did become its own thing. But that's not because it's like, you're right, like, it laid the foundation for something. It was a hopping off point for you then to
Yep.
make it your own. And it was its own
Yeah.
thing. I mean, it was great.
It was
Yeah, you even
all I could muster.
managed to do a song using it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you did.
That was actually easy. For some reason, it's easier to sing in
Really?
an accent than just to speak.
That's fascinating.
Maybe
Wow.
because when you're like speaking in an RPG, you're improving, so you're not only having to think of what you're going to say, you're having to think of how you're going to say it.
Oh, right.
And for that reason, accents can get distracting. So I totally get why people don't play with
Yeah.
them sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be a part of everyone's thing. It can just be
No.
a cool part of you, but yeah, not necessary.
I just think it's fun,
Yeah, absolutely.
and we're here to have fun,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right.
Well,
Right.
Well, speaking of just having a good old-fashioned fun time, if there's any way to describe how you guys have experienced the library thus far in the Dorchester facility, I think it's just you guys are just having a great time, and you're gonna look back on this. You're gonna look back on crushing that guy with those books,
Yeah.
and all of almost being stabbed in the neck, and all this stuff.
Marionette
I think you guys are just gonna look back on this and just have a good old laugh because it's been a good time. It's
chuckle.
just been a good time. The team, Hank, Benji, and Benedict, are still in the library, having begun to navigate it. And I say navigate, not as if I think it became clear that it cannot necessarily be navigated. But nonetheless, they know they need to get to the other side. You guys had a few interesting interactions, at first kind of figuring out that it looks like people have moved through this area, and you guys eventually came across this sleeping man who seems to have some type of connection with, of all people, Ham. Ham is back in the picture. But this character, this kind of like hobo-ish kind of character, appears to be the subject of this book that you found. And that's to say nothing about the encounter you had with the mannequin. And you guys did learn something new. These mannequins might be dangerous. You know, everything up to this point has been, you've always kind of seen them from a distance. They've always been kind of doing something. But you guys now have the impression, after coming to blows with one, though it retreated, that these things are not defenseless. That's for sure.
Misunderstood.
How aggro? I'm curious about how aggro they can be, because we've never been attacked. They've always been very passive in the world. And apparently touching them, it's like a no touching rule. So,
yeah. Well, you
at
know,
the very
there was
least,
a
not try
conversation that
to
was had.
pull it through a small hole against its will.
yeah, didn't like that.
There was a conversation that was had that was like, if we come across any of these Carcosian clockworks, we should probably not fuck with them.
We didn't know it was a
like a year
clockwork.
ago.
We had to get up close to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you guys.
It was all for science. It was an experiment, and it was a successful one.
Yeah. No.
I think.
I mean, none of you were stabbed in the face.
No blood.
No, there was no blood. There was some hydraulic fluid, but no blood. The last thing that happened is that you guys, specifically kind of Benedict and Benji, had seen this, had seen a bit of an interesting scene. A familiar-looking clearing in the books, in the stacks, and you observed what seemed to have been yourselves 20 years ago, as you retrieved a wooden kind of military-esque crate full of shotguns, gas masks that have this yellow sign emblazoned upon the inside of their lenses, and trench coats. That was the last thing you guys saw.
I don't think we put the gas masks on, did we?
You did not. There was a bit last season
them.
when you encountered them, and you guys actually had the wherewithal to take a good look at them before you put them on your face. And you discovered that.
Decided
Yeah,
not
you
to.
discovered the yellow signs and were like, this might not be a good idea. So you didn't. You remember, and it was mentioned last.
So
it
we're
was
now
mentioned last time, like about the books falling on the man thing. Like, oh, was this one of those death traps? The gas masks were death traps. Okay.
Really?
Cool.
I said then, I was like, you shudder to think what might have happened if you would have put these things on.
Can we get a peek behind the screen? Can you tell us what they would have done?
Oh, you guys would have lost some time, and what happened in that time may have not have been super.
That doesn't sound
Maybe
like
a
death
library
trap.
situation. This sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Sounds like the library.
We're right here. We could try to kill our past selves and put it on.
Of course, all you have to do
And see what
is
happens.
go kill your past selves.
Take off the mask.
Take off.
That's how
their
we take
mask.
off the mask.
That you take off the
That's it.
mask.
That's
It's
it.
been there all
Take
along.
off the mask. Benji carves his face off and holds it up. Take off the
You
mask.
turn into Jim Carrey from The Mask, and you start doing a dance with a swing jazz group behind you.
Auga.
One moment, guys. I gotta get my dogs. Talk amongst yourself for a second.
Okay.
All right.
Oh golly, what do y'all want to talk about?
The Mask.
This is so.
This is a time
about-
to strategize. We need to strategize.
No, let's talk about
What the hell are we
how
gonna do?
hot Cameron Diaz was in the mask instead.
Okay, that seems like a good use of time. Everybody wants to hear about that.
Prime Diaz.
I
I don't know. I don't think there's anything to do, but just like the Night Force is so weird because it seems so expansive and yet it feels like a railroad. Oh hey Joe.
What was that about our railroad?
Talking about Cameron Diaz.
Is that Cameron Diaz is expansive but also a railroad? I'm
Right on.
okay.
You nailed it. Exactly.
Okay, so here you guys are, looking into this kind of
Can I-
clearing. Go ahead.
Can I? So we've looked into this clearing. Are we through like a set of books, like a wall of books? Is it that kind of situation?
Basically.
Or did we just turn? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Benedict's gonna notice this, and he's a little bit, I don't know, a little erratic at this point. So he's gonna try and like shout out to himself and to Benji, like, "You there, you handsome gray fox,
you handsome devil, you there with the sharp-looking hair."
Yes, look at me.
Well, this is one of those weird situations where, as a GM handler, I get into a weird kind of thing. Do I respect a causality loop, or do the timelines diverge?
Ooh.
Right here.
Well, you're gonna have to tell us either way. It'll give us information.
I think that basically they probably continue on. They don't seem to notice you.
Lazy.
Sorry.
Yeah. Or maybe the echoes just get swallowed up by the books.
It's so here you guys are. As you guys are kind of focus in, we'll say that, again, you hear a sound from Ham. This time not an eager bark or a curious whine, but maybe you hear the sound of the ball being dropped to the ground. Ham's been carrying the ball with him. The ball drops to the ground. You hear it make a tiny squeak as it hits the ground and bounces a time or two. And Hank drops the ball
so much alike.
and gets his
They're the
hackles
same
up.
thing.
And Hank starts to
constantly-
growl. But yeah,
Hank's always dropping the ball.
right.
Damn. Throwing shade out of nowhere.
But Ham is looking back the way you guys came down this kind of corridor of books, and his hackles begin to rise, his fur along the back of his neck, begins to kind of rise, and there's a low, threatening growl. Not a threatening growl like when you guys had first seen Ham a little earlier. It had growled very like, "Don't mess with me," like a warning growl. This is very aggressive. This is different. This feels...
What's wrong, boy?
Doesn't look good. Should we get out of
We
here?
should get ready to run, but I kind of got to know what Ham's growling at.
Well, can we dig through the books that we just saw ourselves through? Can we make a passage?
You probably could. You could probably get yourself through that way if you'd like. There is a skittering sound further on
No.
the way that Ham is looking. And again, there's kind of this ambient light. There is no light. Maybe there is a light source here and there. Maybe there's a desk with a lamp on it every now and then that's on or something. There's kind of this ambient light, and it is very well lit. So everything that you see or hear, is like, or that you can't see, is typically behind something. And you see a book down the way, probably about 50 feet away. You see a book fall off a shelf, as if it was pushed from the other side. Just thump.
Benji runs over to it and peers through the empty space.
No. Benedict's gonna hold him back. Don't go there. No.
Are you going to restrict him from moving? Is this going to become...
I'm gonna try and restrict him. This is dangerous.
We don't have to roll opposed checks. Benji will stop and just be like,
Don't you want to know what's on the other side? What pushed that book off?
It's classic Benji.
I know you do. But there are other ways. Ham is not happy, and Ham didn't even know us, and now he's with us.
Hank,
this is not a good... We need to run.
rolls in alertness with the critical 66.
Critical success.
Whoa, look at this guy
Yes.
dropping crit balls.
Hank, you're standing there. These two are kind of having their little talk. Hank, you're alert. You're as alert as Ham is. And you kind of, I imagine, and you're listening. It sounds like there's something fairly small moving on. It doesn't sound like there's someone walking around on the other side of the shelf where this book came. It seems there's something small and you hear a very like a skittering sound across what almost sounds like the top of the books. Something quite small. You would, whatever it is, you think it probably is no bigger, you'd say, than probably a rat or a cat moving in and about.
Fellas, I'm gonna say right now, something small, skittering. This has all the signs of a little cherub-esque killing machine, and I say we should.
No.
If I have my vote, we should go with this dog's instincts and go the opposite direction.
I hear what you're saying, Hank, but
Yes.
there is a small chance that this is not a cherub, but in fact a cat-man frogpede, which would be Bile. I'd imagine that would make a similar skittering sound.
As this man with the symbol on his forehead again, Hank just like side eyes Benedict.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine.
Benedict grabs Benji in like a bear hug hold and says, "Yes, I'm sure it is," and starts like walking him the opposite
It
direction.
says it right there in
Well-
the bars, guys. He appeareth as a cat frog man centipede. Plain as day.
It's right there in the occultic text.
I would say this: I like the instinct. We need to keep it focused. Why did we come here? We came here to find the King Bell fella. But I do not think this is him. Let's not go that way as my vote.
Can we just see? Just take a peek, sneaky
Nope.
like.
You've been
Ham
outvoted,
begins to
Benji.
bark.
We're
No,
Well, there
finding
goes
a way
the
out.
stove.
Let's find a way out. Find a way out.
Question: this book that just got knocked off the shelf, is that like forward? Is that the only way forward?
I think with this back the way you came, but you guys are at a dead end. You could go through the bookshelves to the clearing. You could crawl through the bookshelves, I'd say.
wait. So we're in the middle of an aisle. We look down the aisle. This is where the one book fell off, and something's on the other side. Either left or right.
Yes.
But we can't just. Let's go in a different direction. Not necessarily back where we came, but still like,
Like I said, you can crawl through.
Yeah.
You're at a dead end. The book and the sound is the way you came to get to the dead end.
it's okay.
But you can crawl through the shelves
in the
to
clear
get through
area.
the clearing where
Yeah.
you saw.
Benji,
just
I'm gonna tell you
follow
right now,
where we
I do
saw
not think
ourselves.
we are equipped to handle whatever that is, and we do not have the upper hand of stealth now.
Let's dig.
Go at your own risk, Benji. I
dig
can't.
through.
You're your own
We'll come
man,
back.
and you can do what you want, but go at your own risk is all I got to say.
Can I try to persuade Benji?
Something
Clever
drops down from a higher shelf and lands. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think you have to persuade Benji. I think this is one of the very few times that Hank and Benedict have just been straight up like, "No, this is bad."
I think it's futile. We've ran out of time.
Something drops down, similar in a way that you'd imagine a large cat to drop down, kind of on all of its fours, and it indeed appears to be some type of quadruped of a creature, except that instead of being made of flesh and fur, it appears to be a jumbled mess of seemingly wet paper pages and the covers of books, and it kind of comes to a not quiet but not terribly loud, as it kind of slams down into the middle, seeming to have like almost like fallen or jumped off the shelf. It turns what appears to be a head toward you. A head that has a mouth that is full of what looks like broken pieces of glass and perhaps nails.
Oh wow!
And
Don't
it
move.
looks...
It works on movement. Its vision is based on movement.
It looks to be like a weird, like awful homunculus child's paper mache approximation of like a large cat. and Ham is barking at it and seems to be trying to kind of guard you guys from it, as rising up from its back is a kind of swishing tail.
Let's slowly back up.
Back and forth.
Dig?
Yes. Someone start digging.
Digging back up.
I'll like kind of stand there with Ham, try to slowly go backwards. While I guess Benedict digs a path forward.
Benji parts the hair and reveals the symbol on his forehead, and he's like,
"Oh, great King Baal, I doth perceive your demonic visage, and I welcome the gift of your homage."
It raises a weird papier-mâché eyebrow at that, and jumps back up into the shelves as you hear it begin to move around. Unsure if it's attempting to flank you or to move away. But at this point, you guys have begun to create a passage through the books.
Yeah.
Benedict failed a strength, but I don't know if I needed to
I don't think
roll
you really
for
need to
that
do that
passage.
to move books.
All right.
You guys can create a passage big enough in the shelves for you to move into the clearing.
Let's just press forward and not
I think
mess with that thing.
Yeah, I guess that was the wrong cat.
Just so.
yeah, Benji.
Just out of curiosity, how, with your knowledge of the crazy weird stuff, how would one go through the ritual of summoning this bell fella?
Well, I'll tell you.
Point of order. Point of order. Let's discuss this later once we're fucking safe. Thank you very much, both of you. And tries to get us through, and then we will come back to this. So, Joe, can we be safe at this point?
You can be moving.
Can we dig through?
Yes, you
and
can get to the other side.
Can
you
we
can
be
get to the
moving?
other side and get to the clearing? And again, this is something that
Is Ham with us?
Yes, Ham can come with you. The weird thing is
He's still barking.
He seems to, once you guys get through, he seems to still be alert, but is not specifically keyed in on anything particular.
Okay.
This clearing, again, it's almost like a little, like the center of a hedge maze where there might be a little clearing with some benches and stuff. It feels like that, almost like a park, but it again has this weird barricade that looks like someone had taken shelter in the middle of it. Hank, you've never seen this place. But the other two, it is the most bizarre sense of deja vu, in that you remember it, but again, that whole set of memories seems foreign. It seems questionable. You find yourself doubting if you ever saw that had been there at all.
In the weird bookstore.
Right.
Any other boxes that we
Yeah,
missed?
that's what I was wondering.
Chance?
Make a search or an alertness. Probably a search, probably. Let's see what we get.
Failure?
Success for Benji, 10 under 50.
Okay. I will say that as you're looking through, you can see where the box was. It's pretty plain. But as you're going through, you find that there perhaps is similar to this being a park. There looks to be a little garbage can with an ashtray on top of it, and you open it up and dislodge its everything it's in it. You pour it out and take a look at it, and you find a a half-eaten sandwich or something. Which might be good because you guys are starting to get hungry.
We feast.
But you also find a lighter that looks to have just enough fuel in it to maybe light a few more times, but a mostly spent lighter.
Okay.
What color?
And it's not like a Zippo. It's like a modern, like one of those modern plastic lighters. That's green.
Lighter.
It's green.
Green.
It's a Bic.
That's a rare
Is
color.
it a Bic or is it an off-brand?
No, it's Bic.
Rare color green.
Right.
It's really real detail oriented.
I'll let
playthrough.
Hank and Benji know just in case. This should be important.
We
That
need
is
to burn
green.
some shit down. We got a way. Oh, it's also green.
All right, let's take that with us. And Benedict eats the sandwich,
Why?
like not even asking the other two.
Hold
just
up
eats
now.
it.
I'm kind of hungry
What kind
too.
of sandwich was it?
Well, doesn't matter.
Wow.
He's hungry.
What kind of sandwich?
Well, that's a good question. What kind of sandwich was Benedict eating in 1993 when he was tapped on the shoulder by the man?
It was something with pickles and some kind of cold cut
It's
meats.
that.
So, a sandwich. So we still don't know what kind of sandwich it was.
What was it? You were talking about our playthrough and how most groups do it in like 10,
They don't take
12
as long.
sessions. And you said we really went the completionist route.
Yeah.
Is this what you meant?
this is what I meant because we talked about sandwiches.
I'm hungry. Side
All right.
note, as Brad. Now that we're talking about
Okay, good.
sandwiches.
Noted.
Good to know. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
So,
All right, so we could make a fire with this, and I feel a lot better. So thank you for following me, Benji. I don't feel safer, but let's keep going then.
but I do want to know.
Let's.
Well, go ahead, Benedict. I do want to know how would one summon the King Baal?
Yeah.
Well, this is something that you absolutely know. You know that it's the big thing it's going to take is the drawing of a symbol.
Check.
Yep. The drawing of a symbol on the floor.
Just any old
On the
symbol.
floor.
On the ground.
on the floor. To inscribe the symbol that one must sit within it. You think that there are a lot of things that are like quote unquote required, but you don't know if that's necessarily true. You think you have seen around the place, you have seen candles here and there, like on some of the desks and stuff. You think that candles might be kind of important, but you think the big things that are the most important are the symbol to go through the ritual of the naming of the 72 demons and the rehearsal of the Prima Numicon and things like that. Which are things that Benji knows with a 90 in occult, knows off the top of his head.
I'm
just
just
someone who has handled the Archigoetia.
I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, that's the whole reason we came here, is to talk to this fella. Why don't we... I can't believe I'm saying this, but... why don't we attempt this ritual instead of going on and possibly being attacked by Pinocchio's friends that come back to jump us and this cat paper mache? I mean, let's just try to go straight to the source.
Hank?
To the source of all of our problems and hell.
It would be my greatest honor.
Oh God.
I'm open, Benedict. If there's, I mean, I will say there's potentially
I'm
we
okay
could
with
go
this.
find someone else that's lost in here that's not a hobo, and potentially they could be like, yeah, you don't want to talk to that guy, Baal. He's no good, which he probably is, but I don't know.
That's fine. I see your logic. I think we need to make some preparations in case, so that we have some kind of ability to survive. And it seems like barricades and small fires have been set up by other people who've come through here. So we could maybe make a little safe zone and try this ritual under our terms.
Yeah. Little circle of salt, something like that.
Benji, do you know anything that demons don't like?
Croatians.
Wow.
They're a little bit.
There's a long history.
Wow.
Well, we don't have any of those. I don't think.
Right. It kind of depends on the demon, I think.
It's they're individual demons. They have different likes and dislikes.
Are there allergies listed on each demon profile? Not allergies. Joe laughs, but he knows.
You know what? It's kind of interesting. The only other thing that we haven't really said out loud is that it says he specifically can make you invisible. And it also...
You think he's been watching us the whole time?
I don't know. But then at the beginning, it says, whatever you can do or dream, you can do. Begin it. Boldness is genius, power, and magic in it. So that hobo might have had, like... It's very similar to, like, kind of what that hobo's doing. He's, like, dreaming things, situations, and...
Okay.
Doing...
So you think maybe, like, this is kind of his realm that we're in?
Maybe. I don't know.
His little section of the night floors?
Just like Sandman.
Yeah.
Not unlike that.
I mean, Benedict did try to manifest something, and that didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, no flashbangs.
No flashbangs.
But maybe I was doing it wrong.
I'm just gonna try this one more time. We're gonna need guns. Lots of guns.
Lots of guns.
Oh, damn.
It was worth a shot, Hank. That was a good instinct. Now you boys ready to summon a king of hell?
Yeah, let's build some barricades. Let's light a small fire. Keep it going. And then let's do this.
Yeah. Well, luckily, you already have a pre-made barricade right here, so you can build on it, or kind of stick it all back together. You feel like you can make something that gives you some semblance of safety. Is that the goal?
I
You
think
guys want to
so.
summon a demon?
Yeah, or at least to have like a single point of entry for anything coming in, if that's even possible.
Fair. Okay.
And fire? Can we light a fire?
Luckily, you are in a place that has a much higher flammability index than most places, so it is not difficult to start a fire. Certainly.
Does fire work normally?
Seems to.
Just like really going back to basics here. Okay.
Seems to. Nothing odd. And you can always, pull apart a piece of a bookshelf to get like a big fat piece of wood, and stuff like that. Like, there's no shortage of firewood.
Okay, and the way that we came is all like jammed up.
Can be.
Ham is with us. Yeah.
With the 90 and occult, is there anything in particular that Benji knows of that would repel demons? Specifically, the one we're trying to summon?
Roll me the occult. Let's see if you get anything really snazzy.
Success, 58 under 90.
Okay. Benji also knows that there is a difference between necessarily the occults, which is like the human understanding of the unnatural, and then the unnatural. One of the interesting things about the Ars Goetia and the demons therein is this goes back many, many centuries. This is like the classical understanding of demonology, which in some ways is like kind of like cosmopolitan and fun, kind of like in the way of a Ouija board is. But at the same time, that doesn't mean there's no truth in it. You're not sure. When you say to protect yourself from demons, do you mean from the creature that you just encountered? Is that what you mean? Or do you mean demons?
No. Like one of the 6 kings of demons.
To be frank, nothing comes to mind.
Okay.
You know that in order to do the preliminary invocation of the Prima Numiton, which is the summoning circle, you know that one will typically need to draw the symbol, sit within it, enunciate a certain litany, and then must enunciate the name of all 72 demons. And then the last thing you do is you actually write the name of the demon that you want to communicate with in the circle. And that this is, in and of itself, an invitation.
Okay. Is there anything in the...
Benedict?
Good.
Sorry, I wanted to just add to that. Benedict's got some occult and maybe some experience with the Daily Mail. Can he remember anything about weird cat paper mache stories? Cat.
That's
broken
going to
glass?
be a no.
I was gonna say, a long shot.
All right.
Yeah, that's going to be a big fat no.
Is there anything in the room that I can write with?
Certainly. Like I said, there are. Keep in mind, the trappings of a library are all around you, and if nothing else, you can walk out a little bit and probably find something. Benedict was already trying to attempt to make a map, so probably has something.
Okay.
Well, y'all want to do this? It's the last chance.
Yep.
Yep.
All
I
right,
think we're ready.
let's do it.
Ham, sit there. Look cute.
Are
Be by
you
the
going
fire,
to
be
do this
ready.
in solitude or with your friends nearby?
With the friends nearby.
Okay.
Like in the same vicinity, but maybe I'll be the only one in the circle.
Okay.
Unless they just want to join in for fun.
I just mean, are they
I want
there
in on
the
this.
area?
Yeah, same area.
Okay.
In our fortress of solitude and safety.
Benji draws a pentagram with the symbol of the Deathly Hallows and writes the name Daniel Radcliffe.
Jesus.
Do I need to roll something?
All right. First, roll me both an occult and an unnatural roll. Tell me what you get, please.
Cult success with a 79 under 90.
Okay.
Unnatural 43 over 28.
Okay.
That's a failure.
Your unnatural skill is very high.
Not high enough.
That's very high. Like 28, that's pretty damn high. Okay. All right. So you guys are sitting here. You sit in the circle, Benji, that you know to be the protective circle. That the nature of being within this circle is that you actually are protected from the ritual in and of itself. That is the
Which is something I would definitely share with Hank and Benedict.
Yes, you probably would.
Oh, I would want to be in that circle then.
Okay.
With that knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Okay. So you make it big enough for everyone.
Yep. And Ham.
Are you gonna write down? Are you gonna get them involved in it? Like write down the words and have them say it too, or are you just gonna lead the way?
I'll lead the way,
Okay.
because this is my shit.
You begin to enunciate, and the last thing that you do before you close the circle, and we'll just say that you either have a pen or even that you start the fire and you use the charcoal to create the circle, the circle that is, again, by its very nature, like it's protective.
Do you want me to recite all 72 names of the demons? I got them right here in front of me.
I just think it would take a while.
Well,
not that I don't want you to. I just think it would take a while.
I don't.
fine.
Maybe do 3.
We don't want to.
Let's.
We don't want to do this ritual in real life.
Okay, you see. Okay, you're on Demon Web 101.
I don't have a real circle up right now.
You're on Demon Web 101.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. You see where it says "Remain in the circle" and recite the invocation. Up towards the top where the symbol is.
Oh yeah.
Just read me those first 4 lines, as Benji. Let's hear this first 4 lines of the ritual.
Thee I invoke, the bornless one, thee that didst create the earth and the heavens, thee that didst create the night and the day, thee that didst create the darkness and the light.
The ritual goes on, and I imagine Benji's pretty in what he's doing. And the other two of you are just kind of sitting there, kind of just like, what's happening, kind of thing. And you're going through this. As you're going through this, let me roll a dice real quick. Here, all right, Hank, you hear something. You hear something from outside the barricade. It sounds like the sound of like 1920s music. It becomes drifting in. And as you're gazing out, you see approaching your barricade and kind of leaning and kind of onto what'd you call it? Kind of stretching herself out over the edge of the barricade, but you can still see her, is a beautiful woman in like a typical kind of like flappers kind of outfit. And her face and her lips are decorated and painted, and she kind of waves to you and kind of makes like an alluring gesture toward you, as if prompting you to come to her. To come to her, Hank.
No,
yeah,
Hank.
Hank, like,
See your eyes.
tries not to, like, give her any reaction.
Okay,
I don't know, man. She's pretty hot.
She's pretty hot.
You sure?
She
Put
kind
a,
of
put a picture of her on the murder board. Let's see.
Tell me what I'm looking at. She makes like kind of a pouty face and then is almost ripped back from the barricade, like as if she was being pulled by a rope, just like like pulled back. Benedict, you see a familiar looking pigeon perch again on the edge of the barricade.
What?
It's Papua New Guinea.
No. It can't be Papua New Guinea. Do you guys see
Coos
that?
at you.
It's my big boy. Oh. Oh God. I think he will start to step forward, but then like hold himself back. Like, no, it can't be. It can't. No, he's not here. No.
Okay, this is the moment where we get to decide how much
Go
we're
home.
going to metagame and how much we're not. Do you think that it's difficult for Benedict to make that decision? To stay or not? You tell me.
I think it's his. He's got an. Okay, straight from Benedict, he's got an awareness of how fucked up this reality is, and he's being ultra safe. So I think he would catch himself. He wouldn't just be tempted to go and like dispel all of that belief and go and tend to his fucking pigeon, who's out here in the library all of a
Hank's
sudden.
pretty hungry though.
Hank is really. He's
not
looking
eating
at
Papua New
that pigeon.
Is Hank or Brad talking?
Yeah.
We're one in hunger.
Who was that Bond that Benji had? The blues man.
Oh, T Model
T
Ford.
Model Ford. Yeah.
He sees Team Model
Benji,
Ford
as
come
you
out.
are, as you are enunciating this, you are surprised to see through the edge of the barricade, T Model Ford himself.
Singing his classic song, Chicken Headed Man.
Well, he's
Chicken head man.
he's standing there and he holds up what looks like 2 tickets, and he points one to himself and the other one to you. And again, it's like he's like waving for you to come join him.
Oh, man.
But he's dead at
He
this
is
point,
dead.
right?
But did that ever happen? Did he really OD?
Benji sort of like loses focus on the ceremony for a second and kind of gets distracted and looks at him and like reaches out his hand. T-Model? Is that you? He like reaches out, and he stops and he's like,
Oh, wait a damn second. T-Model Ford ain't never given nobody nothing for free in his whole damn life.
Well, that's it. Again, like T-Model is like pulled back, and you realize now, all of you realize that your barricade is not surrounded by that weird ambient light, but complete pitch black darkness, which seems to just kind of hover right on the edge of the barricade, as even Papua New Guinea is like snatched back, almost violently back into the darkness.
Who was the lady in Hank's life?
Could be anybody. Just a lady. Just a nice lady.
Not a bond
nice lady.
or someone in particular that we don't know about.
If I could please get a roll. Let's see. If I could please get a roll from Benji. Go ahead and roll me a D100.
Okay. 33.
Ooh.
33.
With happiness.
33. Okay, hold on. I gotta do some math. So, what's your sanity at right now?
Sanity is at 38.
Okay.
Jesus.
Breaking point is 36.
All right. Okay. 33. Trying to think. All right. All this happens, the fire is like at some point in time it becomes very obvious that there's like almost like a wind ripping around. And the last step of the ritual, Benji, armed with his charcoal, burnt piece of a desk, reaches down between his legs as he's on his knees and inscribes the name and the symbol of Baal. And as the last words exit your mouth, there is a sudden hush over everything. There is the sound of whipping and rattling. You can almost feel like you could hear the sounds of books being pulled off the shelves and falling down beyond in the darkness. And there is a complete and utter quiet. And the next time all of you blink, the light is back to normal. You're all sitting, kneeling in amongst your barricade. The fire's cracking quietly. You're all sitting in the barricade, in the middle of the opening. Ham leans up, was maybe like huddled like down beside one of you. Now perks his head up and looks around. Maybe looks up at Benji and whines. Nothing seems to have happened.
Well, this is kind of embarrassing. I swear it usually works.
It's the first time it's ever happened to me.
I must be a little bit nervous, I don't normally do this with other people.
Right.
I understand.
Performance anxiety.
Well, it's fine. I'm sure it happens to a lot of people that are privy to this kind of knowledge. I don't think of you any differently, Benji.
Yeah. No.
It's not because of age. I've had this happen when I was younger too. It's just like an anxiety thing.
It's just anxiety.
Do you have enough energy? Do you want to try again? How are you feeling?
Maybe let me eat a sandwich.
Take as long as you want.
Honestly.
We get a drink of water.
Take as long as you want. We're a team, It's not just you. We're all in this together.
Maybe if I could.
That's where I'm drawing. What did I say about it?
Maybe if I could go down on you and then try to. Oh wait, were we talking about the same thing?
Oh jeez. It's the gentlemanly thing to do.
It's only polite.
It's only polite. Okay, you.
So we sure nothing happened? Does it just appear that nothing
Well, you say
happened?
that. Does Benedict say that? Like, are we sure nothing happened?
Yeah. Are we sure? I felt something.
Let me roll
I don't know about
alertness.
you, but
Yeah, I think it worked just fine.
what? Who the hell was that?
Holy shit.
Who was that?
Did somebody actually say that?
You all turn, as Hank rolls his 15 under 70 alertness roll.
It's alert.
And you see that sitting within your barricade, on the park bench kind of thing that was there, is a man.
King Bio?
Jesus.
Is that you?
Parts his hair, shows the symbol.
Big fan of your work.
The man looks up. And the thing is you guys actually feel like you have seen him before. He looks familiar. I don't know how much it was ever mentioned or not mentioned really, but there was a man who was a patient at the Dorchester house, who maybe you only saw his records briefly. And you see this man sitting before you. Go ahead and...
That is Thomas.
Thomas
Oh, shit.
Bale.
Wait, where is this guy? You put him where?
Yeah.
Yep. Put him on in the middle. Go ahead.
In the middle.
So this is
I'll put him
this is
next
a
to-
patient at the Dorchester.
Correct. And he is sitting there. Oh, I'm sorry. He's a Timothy Bale. Timothy Bale.
Timothy Bale.
War vet. He had night terrors, PSD. Relatively unstable, couldn't adjust after getting home.
Yeah.
Is the notes we have on him.
He is sitting there, and he has a book in his hand. He seems to be kind of reading it, and he just kind of takes it and throws it, kind of tosses it aside, as if he wasn't really that interested in it. He goes, "Well, yeah," he says, and he sees the symbol on Benji's head, and he kind of chuckles. He's like, "I don't think that was, I don't think that's entirely necessary."
Wait a minute. So, but you were a patient at the Dorchester. And Hank's like a little fuzzy, like, you know, the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, was that an actual facility? Blah blah blah.
And he is wearing the clothes of some. Oh, I already gave you his picture once. Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Um,
It was right there. It was literally
right there. Yeah, Timothy Bale.
His surname was there the whole time. And it was just below King Bale, which I changed to not a kitty.
Not to be confused with a kitty. Yes, you see, and he's just sitting there in
Okay.
front of you. He says, yes, he says, well, gentlemen, I understand you want to have a conversation with me. I heard from Mr. Wilde to be expecting you.
So you're
Yeah.
Gulp Demon?
Demon. he kind of I don't know, he kind of leans back. He seems to kind of take that in. He's like, what is a demon anyway? You know? I'm just playing my part, is what I am. Just like you're playing your part. We have different parts.
How did you get this part?
I was given this part. This has always been my part.
What is your part to play?
Well, I'm more of a, think of me as like a, walk with me, gentlemen. I actually need to get back to work, but we also have something we need to do together. Would you mind
Hold up
walking with
now.
me?
Hold up. I think Benji said something about we need to stay in the circle now.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
far too late for that.
What do you mean?
He's standing at this point, and he just walks into the circle with you, and now you're all standing very uncomfortably close. He says,
Oh,
he's like,
no.
I don't think your circle's any good anymore, Benji.
I don't understand. Did I get the invocation wrong?
Oh no, you did just fine. Did great. He kind of gives you a little pat on the shoulder. Did good.
Are we... This business that we have together, are we in danger? Do we need to fear you, King Bio?
No, absolutely not. I'm sorry. And he kind of takes a step back. He's like, you know what? I came on a big strong, guys. No, I very much want to make sure you guys get to your next mark. Okay? That is my goal here. That is what I'm doing. Think of me as like not a director. I'm like a stage manager. And I know king, that kind of has a certain connotation to it. Don't mind it. It's just a name.
I have a question. I have a question for you, Timothy. The stabby dolls, the stabby machines, the stabby cherubs, the paper mache fucking cat with teeth of glass. Are these all part of tiger. Your paper tiger? Cute name. Why? Why? This doesn't seem... Are you really helping us? What's going on with these? What's our next mark?
Well, you have to get out.
Let me ask you this. You said you got a part to play and we got a part to play.
Yeah.
What part are we playing? What's our role?
Oh, you need to find the author's bottle. But you can't do that here.
Who's the author?
The author. That's your part.
The author.
You mean to say we're the author?
Yeah, the play.
We need to find the author of the play.
What do we do with the bottle?
Well, yeah.
And that's another thing, Baal, if you don't mind me leaving off the king part. We've heard a lot of talk of these bottles and whatnot, and everybody gets touchy about this bottle situation. I mean,
yeah, they do.
What's in the bottle? Why does everyone have a bottle? What's in the bottle?
I mean, what's in the bottle depends on whose bottle it is. It helps people make sense of everything. It's a secret that they need to hear. It's your purpose. It's important, but more important than you could imagine. For you, and in your bottle, Hank, is there something in there for you? And it's good. I mean, it'll make everything fall into place.
And this author has trying to find his bottle as well.
Absolutely.
But he needs our help to find his bottle.
Well, the author's part is to write the story.
Who's the author? What's the name of the author?
He reaches into a pocket and pulls out a tiny little notebook and flips through. He's like, I don't have that one handy right now. He's like, don't get me wrong, guys. I know a lot, okay? And I wanna work with you. I wanna do whatever it takes to get you to your next mark, okay? But the point of the matter is we gotta get you out of here. Because if you stay, for instance, in this library, something's gonna get you, okay? And we can't have that. You need to make it to the next mark.
I'm all for getting out of this library, but I don't want to go back to the doctor friend and that whole situation.
Oh, no, none of that. No, absolutely unnecessary. No, we're going out.
So back to Boston.
Yes, and he makes air quotes. Boston.
Do you know where Abigail Wright is?
Yeah.
Where is she?
Well, that is very important. That is actually very important. We would much like to see her and converse with her.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's I think that's on the docket. Yeah.
Well, you seem to be very reasonable, quite frankly, more reasonable than I thought. I thought you would be.
Surprisingly reasonable.
I'm against the idea of monarchy in general, but I gotta say, you seem pretty chill for a king. Doesn't seem like you've let the weight of the crown.
Like I said, it's just a title. It doesn't mean anything. Look, the big thing here is like I said, I want to get out, and I want you to get out too. And I figured out a way for us to all get out. It says if you get out, then you can finish your part.
See, that's the thing. Does
getting out involve dying?
Shouldn't.
Timothy. Oh, thank God. Sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep us alive?
I'm not gonna hurt you.
That's just fucking semantics, my friend. You say you're the stage
In a way.
manager.
Well, let's
God.
start.
All right, I guess we have
Yeah,
no
let's
choice.
follow him wherever he wants us to go. But maybe I would, as we're walking, still try to converse with him a little bit.
He did say his method of getting us out is also going to allow him to get out. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, so we're going to release a demon into
Where
the
do you
world?
need to go?
I don't care.
If
Where are you trying to go?
Hank is far beyond giving a shit. Yeah, so he starts walking with you guys. He's like, way out's this is really similar to the way in. And eventually he comes to a mound of books that seems to have another of these burrows through it. And he's just like, well,
How is Ham feeling about this guy?
fine. Seems to regard him with a little bit of caution. But, nothing that he didn't do with you. And he gets down on his hands and knees and crawls to this burrow. He's like, come on. Time's a ticking.
Okay.
I guess Hank felt, and as
How do you know Deborah?
You hear Deborah's like, oh, we're patients. We're both patients here. She didn't... You're not getting high with her, are you?
Oh, we almost did.
I mean,
But-
not yet.
We had other things to do.
Well, I don't think you're going to get back around to that at this point.
so, Timothy, this is a bit confusing. You see, if you were a stage manager, one would think of whatever this play is. One would think you wouldn't be in a position of a patient. You would be kind of in charge of certain things. So you could see how that's sort of confusing, right?
Yeah, I can. That seems really confusing. This way. We'll take it right here.
Okay, this is going to be awkward, but I have to come clean. Tim, you mind me calling
Tim's
you
fine.
Tim? I thought you were a cat. I straight up thought you were a cat.
Yeah, he kind of looks at the other one. He's like, this guy, right?
Have you... Why the cryptic descriptions of all of your roles? You seem pretty normal, but why... What's with the cat
We're all
thing?
pretty normal. We're just playing our parts, man. And whatever. I mean, gosh. He's like, when did I even write that? What was it? No. When I wrote all that stuff down, I was just going off of what I knew, and the people who were around me. So,
Be honest. Were you high?
I was not high. I was not high. Yeah, I think.
Have you seen the book?
What book?
The yellow book.
The yellow, but the play? Is that what you mean?
The play. Yeah.
Of
sorry.
course. Of course, I've seen the play. I'm in the play. We're in the play. The play is all around us.
So what is the book? What is the physical manifestation of this book? What does that mean? Why does the book keep popping up?
Okay, I got you. And again, and at this point in time, you guys have left after crawling through this burrow. You guys enter at some point in time. You go down a few hallways that are pretty nondescript. They have a very back rooms feel to them at first. For any of you who are interested in the back room stuff, like very liminal spaces.
Mm.
And then you end up taking a turn and you find yourself walking through the hallways with a deep plush burgundy carpet and that feel of a hotel again, as you kind of have these flashbacks to the night floors. And he's just walking confidently, his hands in his pockets. There is one part where you're walked through kind of a darker lit hallway, and just for a moment, just for the slightest moment, the three of you see this vague shape floating just over his head as he leads the way. Just the slightest glow of like a crown floating above his head. That this kind of aura about him that almost casts like a dim light. He says, you know about atoms, right? Atoms? Or like neurons? You know about neurons, right? You know how they work?
Vaguely.
Yeah. Loosely.
They're off or they're on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because they're off and on, because they're binary, and he's just kind of talking as he goes, and you guys are just kind of following him in this winding way. Just so your neurons are binary, and so in the end, a lot of your everything about humans is binary. Like we polarize things so quickly because we have a binary nature to us. It's almost as if the thing that we're built out of manifests itself in the bigger structure, right? You're like, that's kind of like what it is. It's kind of like that. The play is everything. The play is also
like
the play.
A hive mind type situation?
Not like that. That's for sure.
Like a Matrix kind of situation.
That is a great movie. I swear.
We need guns. Lots of guns.
He's like, you would not be the first person to try that, my friend. He says, but what we really need to do, he says, we're getting towards the end here, and as you guys are winding, this hotel feel, this kind of environment that was similar to what you experienced in the McAllister building, it begins to get dingy and dark and poorly kept, and that kind of thing. And as you go there, you get to a spot where there are these two sets of big double doors, like the double doors, like those that have the push bars on them,
Mm-hmm.
And there's two of them right next to each other, and he says, all right, so we need to this is where we're gonna have to get out of here, okay? So when we get in here, it's very important that you follow my lead, okay? All right. He's like, he looks down, he's like, the dog probably needs to stay.
Now, this dog has been in poor care. When we last saw him, he was very happy and, a good pet. Now, look at him. I do not feel right about leaving this dog in this environment.
Unethical.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he'll be... Oh, you mean when you meet him next time, he's in better shape.
Oh, hell. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, he'll find his way. Don't worry about him.
Is this past Benji? I mean, past Ham?
It just kind of like, if you like look down at him, he just kind of looks at you and gives you like a tiniest little wag, and...
Okay.
Before we go on, what happens if the play stops?
Oh, the play can't stop.
What happens if we don't want to be a part of the play anymore?
Well, there are understudies. The play goes on, Benedict.
There ain't no resolution?
The play exists because the play must exist.
Is there anything we could... sorry.
The play is at the very center of everything. And everything is currently moving toward it. And I know it doesn't make a lot of sense because a play is a play, but a play is also something else that's real. And it just turns out that everything that's real is also a play. The world out there, Boston, New York, the Daily Mail, Juilliard, your apartment full of homeless men, your
sons. How dare you?
Your sons, pardon me, your sons. Everything out there. It's not real. It's all props and stagehands. All of it.
Hank looks at Benedict and is like,
I think Benji is staring into his eyes a little too intently.
So, everything about the play, it's in Ouroboros. It's a snake that's eating its tail and constantly vomiting it up at the same time. The world is eating itself and making itself. All at once. And at the middle of it is the play in Carcosa. And that's where you have to go. But you can't get there from here. So it's my job to get you there.
can you tell me this? All right. I just want to know. I know we got this whole thing going on about not really having free will, and we got to do this no matter what. But why did Abigail get involved in this play? Why did she want to,
She has a part to play. Maybe her part is a part of your part.
Did she willingly take this part?
Did she willingly walk into that bookstore? Did she willingly buy a copy of The King in Yellow from Robert? Mm-hmm. Did she willingly share it with her friends and neighbors? Did she willingly descend through the lake and enter the palace? Did she willingly put on her own clockwork mask? I'd say so.
Clockwork mask, huh? Speaking of that lake, how do we get through that lake?
Oh, that one is beyond me, I'm afraid. For right now, we need to get you guys out of here. How would you like to go back to, air quotes again, Boston?
I mean, not really. Seems like there ain't a lot of answers out there.
And he puts a gentle hand on you, Benjamin, and it feels very genuine. He's like, no one's gonna make the answers for anyone but yourself. You have to make the answers. You have to find the bottle. You have to find the author. You understand?
I understand, but I don't know how. We ran out of damn clues out there. We thought coming back in we'd find something out.
You need to go to Broad Alban. Descend into the labyrinth. Find the bottle.
So you had, why'd you say that up top? Look at you say a whole lot of time. I mean, god dang.
Hank, I don't know, just like out of instincts, I don't know what kind of situation we're going to find Ham in again, but he kind of like says goodbye, boy, and tries to tuck the lighter into his collar for safekeeping.
Okay.
Unless someone wants to keep hold of the lighter, I feel like we're going to get back to modern time.
There's plenty of Bic lighters in the quote real world. Benji will reach out his hand to Ham one more time and see if he's like a little more receptive, maybe.
He is. It's like you guys have kind of gone this way, and he kind of licks your hand, and he he kind of holds his ball up to you like he wants you to throw it. And
Benji will play a quick round of fetch.
Yeah.
For you.
I'm gonna see you again in the future, Ham, and you're gonna be a whole lot fatter and healthier and happier. And it's gonna be great. I love you, buddy. All right. Get out of here and go play. I can't bear to see you like this.
There, you, Bael, Tim, pushes, he puts a finger to his lips and puts his hand on the push bar of the door and slowly pushes it open, and all you can see beyond is a dimly lit, mostly dark theater with a stage at the front which is bathed in spotlight. And he turns to you and says, "We're just in time." And that is probably a good place to stop.
Wow.
Finally, somebody has some fucking answers.
Some things are happening now.
Some things are happening.
We just had to summon a demon, and
all you had to do was summon the right demon.
One of the kings of hell. That's all.
Yeah, to get answers.
There was something I forgot actually. Epilogue, real quick, right before he goes in. He's okay. We'll say he stops. He stops right before he opens the door. He says, "There actually is one thing I need to give you, Benji." He reaches out to take your hand, like in a handshake, right? And he gives you one of those predator handshakes where he grabs your forearm and
Benji reciprocates.
He pulls you close and he whispers a word into your ear. And you cannot exactly say what it is. It's hard to know. Down on your character sheet, in an empty space, maybe there toward the bottom where the other skills are and stuff, I would just like you to put, you know what? Let's just call it what it fucking is. Like you to put word of invisibility.
Noise.
Oh shit.
A spell.
You know.
Hell
that,
yeah.
You know that this word is secret. You know that it is secret meant only for you. That to share it would certainly be folly. You also know that it will make you invisible.
That sick as fuck.
Oh.
This is the first time in any Delta Green that I've had access to like that level of occultism and like actual magic.
And I'm sure no harm will come from it.
There will be no consequences.
There will be no consequences. I'm positive that it's just like casting a spell in Dungeons & Dragons, and there's nothing to worry about. I assure you of this.
I mean,
it's
honestly better than the alternative.
In some ways,
the last time somebody whispered into my ear like that, I ended up killing him. So
that's right.
I thought that's where I was going, but no, I just learned a sweet spell.
It's in some ways, ironically, it's more similar to the OG fantasy novel Lord of the Rings. You know, like he can't put on that ring without something horrible happening. Normally.
Right. All right. Yeah. Well, guys,
I'm just most upset that Bile was literally on the board
the entire time.
For the last.
Well, I mean,
since we started,
all
India
these demons
Moon,
are on the board apparently,
and since you started talking. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you very much.
Awesome.
I hope you're appropriately confused. I appreciate
Certainly.
that. We can talk about it a little bit on the back end. We can try to do a little bit of a sanity check here in a bit. We can discuss it a little bit depending on what you guys have for time. We'll just work it out. But everyone listening, everyone watching, man, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. It is it's truly great that we get to play this and share it with people. You know, get to come along on a ride on the Jambulance. It's good to have you with. Connected to the in the description of this episode, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, there's links to all of our socials and everything. Reddit is our big place. We do a lot of announcements on Twitter too. If you like what you're listening to, you want to get it a week early, you want to listen to the Sandy check, you want to catch the backup character creations that we have, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/greenboxgaming_. And I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't mention a new contributor, a new patron that we have, George.
Hey,
we're joined by George.
George, all right. Appreciate it, George.
Thank you, George.
Yes. Okay. And George, or Jorge, whatever it is, did ask, hey, like, I really like the song. Is there any way I can get that as like a ringtone, like the theme song? And we kind of talked about it, and we're like, we had mentioned maybe putting some of our background music on our Patreon, and I think that's a project I'm gonna try to knock out this next week. Try to get that. So if you're one of our patrons and you're looking for some cool ambient background music handmade by our one and only Brad, we can make those available to you. We ask you not to just put them out there on the great internet for everyone to use, because we want to be special for you guys, but we'll make it available to you, and whatever you do with it, we hope you enjoy it. Some good ambiance is most of what we use in the background of our stuff. Guys, thank you. Thank you for bearing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very cool 2 episodes.
That was great.
A lot.
Good.
Yep.
A lot.
A lot to take in. That's for sure. All right, everyone listening, everyone watching, thank you very much for joining us. We will catch you next time. And remember, stay safe and stay sane. Bye.
About the size of a tangerine.
Oh, tangerine. Oh, jeez. About the size of a tangerine.
About the size
of a tangerine.
You please have to keep that in the outro.
He was playing with a ruby.
The music starting to float over.
Of a tangerine.